Hello everybody, and today we are going to be making a Dr. Seuss inspired drawing, and all you're going to need for this is a piece of white paper, a pencil with a good eraser so you can erase your mistakes, and anything you want to color with. I am also going to be bringing Sharpie into the mix, a skinny fine line Sharpie, just so I can outline my drawing and make it really pop. This is not a requirement, but it is a nice idea. And again, any coloring materials you choose, color pencils, crayons, markers, you could even this, whatever floats your boat. Dr. Seuss is all about being individual, being yourself, and his characters are characterized by their quirky, fun style. He often covers them in fur or in goofy, wild clothing, lots of patterns. His trees don't look like normal trees. His people don't look like normal people. So that is the fun of this. You don't need to worry about it being perfect because anything you do is going to be just exactly what it needs to be. So let's get started and try to work on his style. Okay guys, so we're going to start creating one of his characters right in the center of the paper. It can be big, small, whatever you want, but one of the things about his characters, they are kind of oddly shaped, and a lot of times it's really hard for us to imitate that style without a few helpful guidelines. So what I'm going to do is actually draw a number 8 to get started. Making sure that the top of the 8 is smaller and the bottom larger, because that way we can create a head and a body. By doing a number 8, it's forcing us to work within a funny, odd shape, and from there add features so that it begins to start looking a little bit more like his work. The first thing we're going to want to do is create a face inside of this number 8. That way it looks like we have a head going on. So I'm doing cartoon eyes. I'm going to do a little cartoon nose. A lot of times the noses are kind of turned up when he works with them, just a little tiny curve. And I'm going to give it an expression. He looks a little bit surprised to me, so I'm going to do sort of a surprise expression. You could do a smiling one, whatever you want. Next, I'm going to give this character some hair. Some of the times he'll do like little wispy hair like this, and give it maybe like a little hat or something, or maybe just leave it like that. It might be wavy, wobbly hair like this. So you have to kind of decide what styles work for you. I think I'm going to leave it with this wild wavy hair. That reminds me a little bit of his sort of thing 1 and thing 2 style a little bit, if you remember those characters from the book. And now I'm going to start adding some other body features. So a lot of times the arms of his characters are a little noodly, meaning they're skinny and kind of wobbly. So I'm going to draw an arm coming this way and maybe another arm down. And I'm going to have some noodly legs. Next, I'm going to add some hands, and again, they don't need to be perfect. You could draw every little finger if you wanted, or you could give them an odd number of fingers. These are made up little creatures, so there's no reason why they have to meet the right number of fingers that a human would have. Mine have 4 instead of 5. And the feet usually are sort of wavy and either round and kind of chunky like this, or they might actually have a little bit of a point at the end. This reminds me of sort of a Grinch type of foot. They tend to be very pointy at the end. So whatever type works for you. You can also look up pictures of Dr. Seuss characters if you want to, and that can also help you create your design. All right, so now we're going to add some clothing. I could either keep the outfit the way it is, and I could just start doing stripes on his body or polka dots or something wild or crazy, or maybe I could turn this into fur. So instead of it being the shape it is, I could do some like zigzag shapes all around, make it look like there's fur, or I could do some lines like that to create a furry body. I could make it look like feathers or scales. These are made up fun creatures, or I could give them clothing. So I could erase some of the shapes and I could redesign it so it has sort of a fun shape to it. I could add collars or other details. Patterns are a big part of Dr. Seuss, so stripes, polka dots, things like that. Those are very strong characteristics of his style. You could even do the same thing to the actual arms or legs of your creature. You could add details like stripes or polka dots or other things to make your creature a little bit more unique and fun. Once you've decided on the shape and the clothing and all the details of your little Dr. Seuss inspired character, you're going to start creating a background. You might also decide at this time to add some more characters. So in this case, my character looks like he or she is surprised about something that they're seeing. So maybe over here, I'll create some sort of character, either another tall character or maybe a animal of some kind that's floating. Again, if I'm not sure I'm going to be able to create a nice wobbly shape the way I want, I can do my number 8 trick again. So I'm actually going to do a nice tall number 8 because I think I'm going to do a tall character over here. So I'm doing the number 8 again, but this time much taller and skinnier. And I'm going to do the same approach, the same technique that I just did, but this time with a different character. Okay, so now I've created another tall, funny character. I gave him some clothing, and by doing that number 8, it really created a funny body shape, which really is something I may not have been able to do on my own had I not had that guideline to force me into the shape. So now that I'm done with my characters, at least for now, I still might add some more. I'm going to start doing some details for the background. So as you can see, I already created a line for a ground for my character in the background to be standing on. And then he is closer to me, so he is in the foreground, meaning he's closer, and this guy is in the middle. Now I'm going to create some background, which means something that's in the back. So I think I'm going to create some more hills back here. And Dr. Seuss usually has some interesting shrubbery and trees hanging out in the background, so I think I'm going to add some of that too. I'm focusing on lots of curlicues and bends and twists, and I think I'm going to do a lot of that when I'm creating my tree. He also likes to use a lot of kind of weird, spiky, furry kind of things. So this, I think, is the tree that I'm creating. It's a bizarre tree. It doesn't look at all like a realistic tree, but it, I think, looks very much like a Dr. Seuss type of tree. So I'm going to continue to add details throughout my scene. Once I'm happy with my details, I'm going to outline what I want in Sharpie. Of course, this is a step you can skip if you'd like to, and then finish it off with some bright Dr. Seuss-like colors. Let's speed through it. Okay, and here we have our finished Dr. Seuss inspired drawing. Using that sort of number 8 template, I was able to create 2 really wacky fun characters. I created a couple wacky Dr. Seuss-ish trees, and then I did my background quite simply. But you could do a lot more creativity than I did. You could put polka dots in the grass or stripes, or you could have crazy balloons, crazy shaped clouds in the sky, whatever you want. But this is what we have created. So I hope you guys had fun making your Dr. Seuss characters with me, and I can't wait to see them floating all over the universe.